Welcome to the 5-Minute Biographies podcast, where every week we tell you interesting things about interesting people in about 5 minutes. And now here is your host, Wayne Armstrong.
Hi, I'm Wayne Armstrong. Welcome to the 5-Minute Biographies podcast, episode 22, Hedy Lamarr. The next time you place a call on your smartphone, use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you might pause and whisper a word of appreciation to Hedwig Kiesler Markey. She was one of the pioneers of frequency-hopping spread-spectrum technology that made wireless communication possible. She also was one of the acknowledged Hollywood goddesses of MGM's golden age. She was Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kieslerin in Vienna, Austria-Hungary, on the 9th of November 1914. Her mother was Gertrude Lieschwitz Kiesler, a Budapest-born concert pianist of the Jewish haute bourgeoisie, the upper class of the Jewish residents of Vienna who built their wealth from trade and industry. Hedy's father, Emil Kiesler, was a secular Jew from Lemberg, part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In addition to being a successful banker, Emil loved technology and conveyed his enthusiasm to his only child. Hedy lived a life of relative privilege, attending schools in Vienna and a finishing school in Switzerland. By the time she left finishing school, she had become an exceptionally beautiful young woman, and she moved from the schoolroom to the movie soundstage. She began her movie career in 1930, appearing in 2 Austrian films, Storm in a Water Glass and Money on the Street. Several small roles in German-language films followed, but it was the Czechoslovakian film Ecstasy that launched her career and garnered the young actress a certain amount of notoriety. She was 18 when she briefly appeared naked in several scenes, and in an apparent moment of orgasm, filmed in close-up in another scene. Hedy would later write of this film in her autobiography Ecstasy and Me, stating that the appearance of orgasmic passion was due to method-acting reality, and also that the off-screen film director periodically poked her bottom with a safety pin. Hedy had married her first husband, Friedrich Mandl, in 1933. He was a munitions manufacturer and was reputedly the 3rd richest man in Austria. Although he was half Jewish, he had social and business ties to the German and Italian fascist governments. Mandl was distressed at what he considered to be the exploitation of his wife, and is said to have bought up as many copies of Ecstasy as possible. Lamarr later asserted that her husband was extremely controlling and had tried to restrict her acting career by keeping her a virtual prisoner in Schloss Schwarzenau, their castle home. She wrote that they hosted lavish parties for Mussolini and Hitler, and that Mandl expected her to accompany him to military technology business meetings. Unable to tolerate the marriage, Hedy fled to Paris, then London, where she met movie mogul Louis B. Mayer. It was Mayer who insisted that her name be changed to Hedy Lamarr, and as Hedy Lamarr, she would make her American film debut in the movie Algiers, opposite established leading man Charles Boyer. Soon declared the most beautiful woman in film, Hedy would spend the majority of her Hollywood career paired in film with the leading men of the era, Clark Gable, Spencer Tracy, John Garfield, Robert Young, and Victor Mature. Actor George Sanders was quoted as saying that Lamarr was so beautiful that everybody would stop talking when she came into a room. She most often was cast as the archetypal exotic and glamorous seductress in drama and adventure films, with rare roles in comedy. She finished her Hollywood career in 1951, appearing in films only sporadically thereafter. Her film career might have been limited and limiting, but Hedy had other interests to explore. One of her California neighbours, George Antheil, was a composer and inventor, noted for his successful experiments with automated control of musical instruments. Hedy and George discussed the possibilities of interrupting the course of radio-controlled torpedoes after they had been launched. She had absorbed a certain amount of technical knowledge regarding torpedoes from attending her former husband's business meetings. She and George co-invented a secret communication system to help combat the Nazis in World War II. By manipulating radio frequencies, at irregular intervals between transmission and reception, the invention formed an unbreakable code to prevent classified messages from being intercepted by enemy personnel. She and George were awarded a patent in 1942 and donated it to the war effort. Ironically, it wasn't utilised in World War II but was installed on the ships that blockaded Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Even more ironic, this use was 3 years after their patent had expired and neither ever received compensation for their patent. This remarkable patent would become the catalyst for the use of spread spectrum, the use of radio frequencies at the same time without interfering with each other. This is the basis for the cellular phones, faxes, and other wireless communication systems in widespread use today. The secret communication system is also used extensively in military communications. Hedy Lamarr married 6 times and had 3 children, one of which was adopted. She made fewer than 30 films in her career and had retired from filmmaking completely by 1958. In later years, she would be twice arrested for shoplifting. Only late in life would she begin to receive, along with her co-inventor George, the much-deserved recognition for their frequency-hopping spread-spectrum invention. Unfortunately, recognition for their co-invention came years after George's passing, but Hedy lived long enough to enjoy belated recognition and growing appreciation for her accomplishments. George Antheil and Hedy Lamarr were awarded the Electronic Frontier Foundation Pioneer Award in 1997. Also in that year, Lamarr was presented the Bulby Nass Spirit of Achievement Bronze Award, which is presented to those individuals whose creative lifetime achievements in the arts, science, business or invention fields have significantly contributed to society or the earth at large. She was Bulby's first female recipient. Hedy Lamarr retired to Florida, living quietly there until her death on January 19, 2000, at the age of 85. She's remembered for her great beauty, her movies, some notoriety, and also, after a long wait, for being a technological visionary. I hope you enjoyed that episode of 5 Minute Biographies. If you'd like to see a transcript of the show, head on over to the 5 Minute Biographies website at www.5minutebiographies.com/episode 22. If you'd like to make a suggestion for a future biography, then please use the Suggest a Biography form on the site, and if you get a spare few minutes, it'd be really great if you could leave me an honest review on iTunes, and if you don't want to miss any future episodes, why not subscribe while you're there? You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Finally, why not check out our other podcast, 5 Minute History, which you can find on iTunes and at 5minutehistory.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the 5 Minute Biographies podcast at www.5minutebiographies.com.